My impression is, what's a conference without a bunch of hype? And I think I'm bullish overall on Dataiku. I see it as the next tool where everything is in one spot, and there's a lot of value in that. Hi, welcome back to Dataiku Delights. I'm Shaun Davis. I'm once again joined by Robert and Christine as we're debating claims from the Dataiku conference. This section is going to focus on claims made about Dataiku as a product and what it's good for. Let's get rating. Dataiku Delights. The next claim is that Dataiku is an analytics and AI platform that can be deployed across the organization. What do we think about this one?
No, I don't think so.
Why's
Um,
that?
and I used to be really wide-eyed about the next new big shiny tool and was very hopeful that this would be the next thing to replace Excel.
Right.
Um, and it never does, right? I thought that about Tableau. I really hoped that Tableau would be one of those things that everybody in the organization would end up using. But it hasn't turned out that way, and I think there are reasons for that. One is technical hurdles. One is licensing costs, but I think another is just familiarity. It's not a tool that people are going to learn as part of their core curriculum in a college undergrad degree. Excel is, right? So honestly, the thing that's deployed across every organization as the analytics tool that everyone can use is still Microsoft Excel. And I don't see anything really replacing that anytime soon, for a lot of the same reasons that Tableau didn't make those inroads. It's the cost, it's the complexity.
Yeah, I think we've all been scorned lovers there. As we believe the marketing claims and they say, oh, we're going to get rid of the cockroach of the data world, we're going to get rid of Excel. And we just get our hearts broken. And I've seen that. It's hard because we are data professionals and we want everybody to use these things that we're excited about. I think it has the potential, but the tool is not the problem. It's the organization that's the problem in
Mhm.
trying to just deploy something across the whole thing.
I want to answer this from a totally different perspective, which was like at that conference, watching people from finance or operations roles and totally different domains, all using a data science studio um, similar ways, but across different domains in the organization. I think that is a true claim that you don't have to be in a BI role. You could be, trying to understand bad debt. All the different topics you can analyze can fit under one roof potentially. But I do agree, if you're an Alteryx user or Power Query or some of the more technical desktop analyst capabilities, you're gonna find your home better in Dataiku than if you have less technical chops. I would say anybody coming to the tool with SQL experience or maybe some Python is going to have a better experience than the totally no code user.
Yeah, and it's hard to see that SQL and Python. Yes, there's drag and drop tools in here, but to see that being adopted across the org, it's the same problem as Tableau, like Robert said. So where do we think this claim lands? I'm thinking stratosphere. What about y'all?
It's definitely not on the Earth. I mean, it's either in the clouds or stratosphere. I think it's an approachable tool because it's visual, it's point and click, and it can be suitable for experts. It's not a crazy claim. So, somewhere between the clouds and the stratosphere,
All right.
upper atmosphere somehow.
How about clouds for you, Christy?
Clouds.
All right. So we're going to rate this one in the clouds. Our next claim is that Dataiku will get you to production faster and allow you to discern more value quickly.
I like this statement. I think that's the purpose of the data science studio, having a lot of different functionality woven in together. I think about this like going to the gym. Yeah, you could go, for a run around your neighborhood or do body weight exercises. There's ways you can do things on your own, which are in the same vein of going to the gym. But when you go there and there's like the circuits are set up, they've got the Olympic pool. They've got everything positioned so that you can get in, get your work done quickly. Um, people can take what they want out of that experience. Maybe you got childcare, maybe other things. So what does that mean in Dataiku terms? To me, that's facilitating exploratory data analysis, presenting governed data sources that we can use collaboratively, repeated across different analysis, and then really enabling people to collaborate together across their different skill sets within, ML ops and, the statistical experts and the people who are going to put the code into production, all collaborating on the same platform. Like, you go to the same gym, you might not all use the same equipment, but I do think that having one common clearinghouse for those types of tools is effective and valuable in the long run.
Yeah, that gym metaphor really works. And if I translate that to my experience in manufacturing process design, one of the ways to make that more efficient, to go from raw materials to production, is to minimize the movement in between, right? And so the more that I can do things in one place, in one platform, without having to move it from one system to the next system to the next system, build all these processes to bring the data from this server to that server, from this cloud platform to this analytics system, or what have you. If we can do it all in one place, in one platform, that really does get us to production faster. And I'll point out one really neat feature about Dataiku that I like that's kind of rare, is that the things that you make inside of Dataiku, you can actually create that as an API. You can create your analyses as an API so that some other production system can call that API, run that analysis, and get the results. So that's a production ready system in my mind.
Yeah, that's super neat. Christine, I want to know what type of data we're going to put in childcare. I would love to think about what that would be. I have some ideas, but yeah, I really love that. I really love that gym metaphor. If you think about the gym, all the machines are labeled. There's instructions there. You don't just go in there and there's a pile of dumbbells. They're all in a particular order, and they are set up in that way so that you can go grab what you need, do what you need to do, and get out. And it's built, that whole system, the gym is built on that high volume, repetitive, multiple people in and out of there, and anybody can access it with very little training. And what I've seen with Dataiku is that through labeling, through tags, through the documentation that's built right in, it really does enable somebody to just go in, grab some data dumbbells, do some reps, and then get on with their day and not have to sit there and figure out, where do I find this or how do I use this? And so that's a really great metaphor.
Yeah. I'll add one more comment to something that you just mentioned, Shaun, and that's documentation.
Sure.
Dataiku actually has those features built in. You can create a wiki to describe all of your stuff right there inside the Dataiku project. I don't need another library, another system within the corporation to create that documentation and have a place to host it. It can be done right there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, and the other two things I was thinking when you were talking, Robert, was that they have the kind of dashboarding capability where you can pull in different charts and data tables and kind of consolidate them in one view if you're trying to walk through your process with somebody else. And then in terms of apps like Streamlit and Shiny and different types of apps that you can really plug in directly with that Dataiku setup, and it's pretty slick to get those off the ground too.
Yeah.
I think for this claim, I think I'm on Earth. I think that's where I'm at. What about y'all?
I'm with you.
Yeah, you can always mess it up, but it's available for you if you want to do it.
Yeah. Earth might not be we're not doing a great job governing Earth faster. For sure.
For sure.
All right, yeah. So for this one, we're going to go with Earth. Our next claim is that what you design immediately becomes operational and usable. What do y'all think?
I think this is a question of your maturity going in. And so if you're already an organization that has the digital foundation where you have all your workflow data and you have it kind of cleaned and organized, and people have a foundational understanding of it, like data catalogs and existing data governance and a whole deployment procedure. Sure, this can get you to market faster, right? Implement things in a streamlined process, but it's just a tool. It does not, supplant the need for training of your people, for coordinating across roles, and for all the checks and safety valves of data validation, and really understanding your market and making sure that you're not putting solutions in search of problems, that they actually understand the fundamental business needs that you're trying to address with your AI.
Yeah, that's great.
I'll echo my comments about getting to production quality. Everyone isn't going to have a Dataiku license. So, making things operational require you to take it from whatever you're doing inside of Dataiku to deliver it to your audience, wherever that may be. And so it's not immediate, and it's not all going to be living inside of this one tool. It certainly helps. It's certainly something that can be automated very easily, very quickly. So that's a big advantage of Dataiku, I think. It's not really all the way there, and just operationalizing everything from end to end.
You don't have a database. You don't have, I mean, it's not filling all of the roles of an ML pipeline, right? It's a clearinghouse, not the complete suite.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I'd say this is pretty down to earth. It's certainly possible, but there's a lot that needs to go along with it. What about y'all?
I think it's just a little bit more in the clouds, just because I think it's just too optimistic to believe that this tool is going to be the thing that makes things operational and usable.
Got it.
In the clouds, yep.
All right. We're going to put this one up in the clouds. Our next claim is that Dataiku excels at getting data from all types of sources, a complete platform for both coders and non-coders alike. What do you think?
This is legit. Unlike the traditional BI tools, Tableau, Power BI, what have you, it doesn't only get data from database type sources with your traditional drivers. I can write interfaces with an API as well. And as new third-party tools come out with APIs, I need data from that. And Dataiku makes that possible.
Yeah, I think that's a good claim that they can make, because there's internal business data, which is largely kind of structured ERP data, CRM data, all sorts of stuff that's been on hand, and there have been ways to work with that. And then as we branch out into more unstructured data sources, or from SaaS entities that we're trying to collaborate with, we can bring that in. I think that no code coder, there's always going to be preferences that are hard to support there, and,
Sure.
and kind of individual processes. But if your hands are tied and this is the only tool you've got, you can coexist.
Yeah, I think whether it's SQL or Python tools that are right there, or the drag and drop tools, this is definitely doable. That you can have an environment where both of them, or both of those personas, can interact and collaborate in one tool using the same sets of data. Whether it's your analyst doing a drag and drop for a real low resolution solution, and then your engineer or your coder coming in and translating those into Python or SQL. I think they've got a really strong claim on this in the market. So where do we think this lands on our hypometer?
Let's give it to them. Earth.
Yeah, this is totally down to earth. It's really good at bringing in things from all over.
100%. I agree. We're going to go with down to earth on this one. The next claim comes from not the conference itself, but the product of Dataiku. And we see that Dataiku has collaboration as a key design feature. How well do we think they deliver on this design? Is Dataiku going to give you that data culture that you've always wanted? Does it remove all the frictions points that we see preventing our teams from working together effectively? Christine and Robert, what do you think?
I think again, tools are what you use them for, and you can use them right or wrong, and you can use them to replace other things. Like in our kitchen, we have a ton of stuff that is single function, and it drives me crazy. It gets in my way. And I think, having a couple of good kitchen knives and some workhorse items gets you pretty far. And I think that's what they're aiming for with this collaborative tool that fits a lot of different, you know,
Sure.
functions. But you then have to give up using your single function tools, right? And that's a big cultural shift. So what are you not going to do now that you have Dataiku is my question.
Yeah, Christine's in favor of the spork, I think. I mean, I think that there's a lot of features there within Dataiku that enable collaboration, whether it's the attraction of pulling all these different personas into the same platform, having the shared architecture, having the ability to share data across multiple projects. I think there's a lot of potential. Chat, I mean, you can chat about certain features, about certain recipes, and so there's a lot of there. How well they deliver on it and how well that can actually move the organization forward, it remains to be seen. But I think they've got a pretty strong claim on this one. What about you, Robert?
My biggest question is collaboration with whom?
Hmm.
Right? Are we collaborating just with other analysts and data scientists? Or are we expanding that question to our audience of executives or department heads or other business users who may not have an analytical background or skill set? If we're only talking about collaborating among the people doing data work, then absolutely, this is a very down to earth thing. Dataiku is incredible at that. If we're talking about collaborating, though, with people elsewhere in the business, making management level decisions, I think probably not.
So you're not, yeah. I mean, is this going to reach out to Nancy in finance? I don't know, or whoever the executive is. I think those are all great points. I mean, I'm going back and forth on this claim between Earth and clouds. What do you think?
I think it's just like the whole focus of these claims is it really a people, process, or a tools conversation? Like, what's the lead driver behind data culture?
Yeah.
I say let's go ahead and put this one in the clouds.
Fair.
Our next claim is that Dataiku is your future-proof operating system, empowering everyone to generate AI value at speed. What does this even mean? I think this is there's I got to go through a thesaurus or a dictionary to figure out what some of those words are, because I don't future proof. Like, what are we talking about here? And do we think Dataiku is the tool that's going to do this? I don't know. I feel like this is a lot of marketing hype that they're. I don't know. This is what goes on the landing page on your website. What do y'all think?
This is hype. This sounds a lot to me like all the TV advertisements that I hear. We have a revolutionary new product, and
Yeah.
what they show me is a new mop.
Can opener.
Right? This is not going to change my life. Okay. There's no such thing as future proof. The only things that are future proof are things that can exist and work all by themselves, that never have to interface with anything else. I could probably argue that this watch right here that I like to wear is future proof because it's got a lot of features. It's got world time. It's got a solar powered watch face, so it charges its own battery. If the battery manufacturer goes out of business, it still works. It's got a circular slide rule and world time and digital components and all this kind of stuff. It's got a lot of features that will still work no matter how the ecosystem changes. Unless the sun dies, in which case none of us have a future, right? Then we're all gone. Any computer system that has to read from databases, write out to databases, use Python, It's not future proof as soon as Python 4.0 comes out, right? It's got to adapt. So I'll give it some credit in the sense that it's a very flexible system that can adapt to the future, that can adapt to those changes. And that's actually a really great thing about Dataiku. So, I'm not going to say it's like a completely outrageous claim, but there's no such thing as future proof with the systems like this.
I think it's completely outrageous. I would object to both future proof and everyone in that statement. And I agree with you, Robert. I think they're trying to give a nod to swapping out different sources easily in a data flow, and some things where they're enabling the expected changes in your workflow. But future proof is a bridge too far.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
super fair. What do we think about this? I'm partial to moonshot that this is way out there if we take it at face value for what it's saying.
Yeah, this is hype.
Moonshot.
This is hype all the way.
All right, we're going to go with moonshot on this one. Way, way out there. Now that we've reviewed all these claims, what's your impression?
I think they're bang on for their technical claims. They don't overreach in terms of what the tool can do. I do think that there's people and process requirements to get the most out of it, and that's what we enjoy working with teams on implementing.
Yeah.
I think we've rated a lot of claims as overhyped, but at the end of the day, Dataiku is a tool that's very well positioned for the future because it's flexible, it's capable, and they're really thinking about how to make their tool work with the next phase of AI development.
My impression is, what's a conference without a bunch of hype? And I think I'm bullish overall on Dataiku. I see it as the next tool where everything is in one spot, and there's a lot of value in that. Thanks for joining me today, Robert and Christine. If you want to learn more about Dataiku, book a chat with us today at action-analytics.com. We've had a great time validating and debunking some of the claims from the Everyday AI conference. See you next time on Dataiku Delights.
Dataiku Delights.